Oh, it's right there. Can you reach it? Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Happy New Year. Here we are in 2023, and since it's a new year, I thought we'd do a brand new song to make us feel confident in our singing. We're going to sing number 178 from the Sing Book called Here Are Our Hearts. Let's stand as we're able in body and heart. Grab a musical instrument if you want to, and let's sing and learn this new song.
Yeah, we'll have a longer intro. Listen to the whole melody. Not over yet. Go. Here are our hearts, here are our hands, here are our lives. Use them as you can. Show us those who hurt, show us those in need, show us how to serve. Teach us how to see. One more time, whole thing. Here are our hearts. Here are our hands. Here are our lives. Use them as you can. Show us those who hurt. Show us those who need. Show us how to how to see. Good job, everybody. Well done. So, as I said, Happy New Year. It is good to be here, 2023. For those of you online, festive greetings to you as well. It's Communion Sunday, so if you have everybody have their communion kits? All right, excellent. Those of you online, now you can scamper to the kitchen, get yourself some bread and a cup, and so that we can have communion together. You might have noticed in the narthex there is a poster for a food drive. That begins next Sunday. So every year we compete with the Boy Scouts, and if I'm correct, every year we lose. Well, no, one year we won. So let's get on it and collect lots of canned goods and boxed goods and things like that and see if we can beat the Boy Scouts this year. And let's see, if you want to follow along on today's bulletin, you can find it on our app or on the website. And let us now create this sacred moment together. This is January. And, one of the things that we're talking about today with Kwanzaa, and we just celebrated Christmas, but January is named after an entirely different god, Janus. And it's the symbol of transitionings, of beginnings, of gates and doorways. The faces of Janus look forward and backward. And we get to make choices this year as to what it means for us to look backward and what it means for us to look forward. So think about these symbols of transitions, of doorways, and of gates. What are you walking through this morning? This year? Are you walking through a gate or a door? They have kind of different uses. They
they enter, they have a liminal space between different things. What is the transitions that you're thinking about for the coming year? And where do you feel that physically? Maybe you've got a physical transition that you want to make, or maybe whatever transitions that you're thinking about impact your body. What's looking forward and looking back for you physically? Intellectually, how are you looking forward and looking backward? What is the gate or the door, the transition that you're imagining with your mind? Emotionally, how is it affecting you emotionally? Or what are the emotional transitions that you want to make? On the cusp of a brand new year, it's the right time to be filled with wonder, anticipation, imagination. Spiritually, how are you looking forward? How are you looking back? Or how is your looking forward and back affecting you in your spirit? Breathe into the future. Look back at the past for whatever you need to look back at the past for. But you get to decide how much of that past you're going to carry with you into the future. How much of it you need. How much of it you can set down. And either say, thanks for being a part of my past. Or, boy, I'm sure glad I can set you down. Today we create this special moment of sacred meaning together. Looking forward for the next hour of our experiences together. Looking back on the Christmas service or the services of 2022 or even beyond. But even as we do all that work, what we have always is right now. So let us live in this present, imagining the future, looking forward, being together as we co-create this sacred moment, one with another, on this New Year's Day.
Please join me in our responsive call to worship. This month we mark a new beginning.
We set our minds and spirits on you, O God.
We are the work of your hands, your spirit, and your love.
Help us to leave behind the failures and flaws of the past year.
Loosen our grip on the past so that we can be free in your love.
You are God.
We trust you to be our strength. Let's sing together, No Matter. It is number 35 from the Sing Book, which you can find under your seats. Please stand as you are able in body or in heart.
No matter who, no matter what, no matter where you are on the journey of life, you're welcome in this place. No matter who, no matter what, no matter where you are on the journey of life, accepted, welcomed by God's grace. For we are family, meant to be purpose. eternity, born in love from above, God's community. No matter who, no matter what, no matter where you are on the journey of life, you're welcome, welcome in this place. No matter who, no matter what, no matter where you are on the journey of life, accepted, welcomed by God's grace. When in diversity, unity, harmony, or all to see, justice and equity, God's community. No matter who, no matter what, no matter where you are on the journey of life, you're welcome, welcome in this place. No matter who, no matter what, no matter where you are on the journey of life, accepted, welcome in God's grace. Together we will sing, worship Him, hands and hearts outstretched to all. Jesus praise, hearts of grace, listen to God's call. No matter who, no matter what, no matter where you are on the journey of life, you're welcome, welcome in this place. No matter who, no matter what, no matter where you are on the journey of life, accepted, welcomed by God's grace. Who spoke through Christ, speaks to us. Listen to our Savior's call. Welcome home, welcome in, welcome one and all. The God who spoke through Christ. No matter who, no matter what, no matter where you are on the journey of life, you're welcome, welcome in this place. No matter who, no matter what, no matter where you are on the journey of life, accepted, welcome God's grace.
You may be seated. Please join your hearts with mine. Holy Love, we thank you for the welcome that you give us. And we thank you that you inspire us to be welcoming. Help us in this new year to expand that, to have energy, to open those gates and those doorways to understanding in greater depths. Help us also to not become too dragged down by all the bad news that will surely present itself in 2023, because bad news is always a part of the picture as well. But help us to stand firm on the promises of your companionship and the companionship that we have one with another. We count on you, Holy Love, to sustain us, to regenerate us, to connect us, to make us fierce in the face of troubles, compassionate in the face of woes. Help us to be ever more that as we move forward, day by day, week by week, month by month, and year by year. And because we do this as a community together, let us sing this prayer with our full hearts.
Our Father, our Mother, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done, on earth as in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our sins, and deliver us from evil. For the kingdom, the power, and the glory are yours, now and forever.
Each week we collect 2 offerings. One is for the church, which goes into our general fund for the running of the church and our ministries. The second is the loose offering, which is sent to a designated charity, which changes each week. If you've brought your offering in person today, you are welcome to drop it in the offering box in the back. It is the glass church near the doors to the narthex. Today's loose offering goes to Slumber Falls Camp, which is an outdoor ministry of the South Central Conference of the United Church of Christ. The 20-acre facility is nestled along the Guadalupe River. Cedar trees dominate the property, with cypress trees found along the river. An Indian mound and numerous fossils abound near the area known as Fossil Flats. Many children, youth, and adults have deepened their awareness of God at Slumber Falls. If you would like to give to our general fund, to the loose offering, or to both, you can use bill pay from your bank, send us a check, use the Plymouth app, or use PushPay according to the directions on your screen. As always, thank you for supporting Plymouth and the ministries of the loose offering.
Praise God from whom all blessings flow. Praise God, all creatures here below. Praise God for all that love has done. Creator, Christ, and Spirit one. Amen.
Please join me in our responsive offertory prayer. Holy One, you watch over our coming and our going. You walk with us always in all circumstances. We bless this offering now as one way to do that.
Umoja, kujichagulia, ujima, ujama, tania, kuumba, timai,
Kwanzaa celebration. Kwanzaa
Our biblical witness today is from Romans 14, verses 5 through 9. Some judge one day to be better than another, while others judge all days to be alike. Let all be fully convinced in their own minds. Those who observe the day, observe it in honor of holy love. Also those who eat, eat in honor of holy love, since they give thanks to God. While those who abstain, abstain in honor of holy love and give thanks to God. We do not live to ourselves, and we do not die to ourselves. If we live to holy love, and if we die to holy love. So then, whether we live or whether we die, we are God's. For to this end Christ died and lived again, so that he might be Lord of both the dead and the living.
Our contemporary witness is from Kwanzaa, How to Celebrate in Your Home by Kathleen Minnick Taylor. It's a really wonderful book that takes you through all of the days. And this one is day 7, January 1st. The principle is Amani, meaning faith. The affirmation of this day: let us develop a never-ending capacity for hope in our people. And the ritual: we reply Imani to the Habari Gani greeting. This last day of celebration is truly a family affair at our house. We spend part of the morning planting a seed with the faith that it will come to life in the spring. We place the planted seed in the center of the Kwanzaa display and then recite the above affirmation in unison. As evening approaches, we gather together in great anticipation. This is the night of the Kwanzaa Karuma. It is symbolic of celebrating the African harvest. We open our home to our relatives and close friends. Everyone brings a dish to pass and gifts to exchange. We try to make the occasion as joyous as possible. Prior to sitting down for the feast, we light all 7 candles. We say the name of each principle as we light that candle. As we pass the unity cup, we recite the Kwanzaa pledge with one strong, sure voice. We place Kwanzaa greeting cards at the dinner table with affirmations written on them. During the meal, each person is asked to read an affirmation. Over dessert, we reflect on what Kwanzaa has meant to us, how we plan to keep the principles alive throughout the new year. I read a lot of books, all of which Mark gave me, so thank you for helping me with my research. Links as well, really helpful, because this is not a celebration that I have done before. So I wanted to make sure that I had some sense of it. So in this book called Kwanzaa 7 Principles, Celebration, Decorations, Traditions, and Symbols, it's written by L.A. Amber, and she wrote this poem. In times of struggle with stress and grief, where Black oppression would never cease, came a celebration to mark the start of new beginnings, a new path to embark. An African-American holiday was the answer. Worldwide, Blacks join and celebrate Kwanzaa, embracing all their African roots, tearing down lies, and embracing truth, showing the best of their present and past, a stance for the worth of the Black social class. That's a beautiful poem, expressing the motivation for and the need of the Kwanzaa holiday. Kwanzaa is a special celebration which was created by Maulana Karenga, 1966, I believe. Every year he writes a Kwanzaa message on the official Kwanzaa website. And to read some of those are pretty awesome. This year's message focuses on freedom. Here's an excerpt. As part of our liberation struggle to be ourselves and free ourselves, Kwanzaa was and remains an act of freedom, an act of reaffirmation and resistance, reaffirmation of ourselves and our right to be ourselves and free ourselves, and in resistance to European cultural hegemony and political domination. It was and is a conscious and conscientious choice again to be our culturally grounded selves, free ourselves from all forms of oppression and celebrate ourselves, and thus reaffirm our unique and equally valid and valuable African cultural way of being human in the world. That's just a small excerpt of a much larger, really beautiful writing. One thing that I've learned while studying Kwanzaa is that it isn't a religious holiday. Many people celebrate it while at the same time also celebrating whatever their religious holiday is at that same time of year. Often, one of the things we talk about here at Plymouth are other religious and spiritual practices. So while Kwanzaa doesn't have a religious component, it is spiritual. So this isn't really an interfaith experience, but we're opening ourselves up to a culture that we don't generally experience here as a community together. So we've just finished Christmas, one of the high holidays in the Christian tradition. We began with Advent, a time of waiting and reflection. We celebrate the birth of Jesus on the day of Christmas. And then we enter into a time called Christmastide, which is what we're in now, the 12 days of Christmas, and it ends with our celebration of Epiphany next week. As I mentioned, many people celebrate Christmas alongside Kwanzaa. However, one thing that I think is important is our recognition that Christmas is pretty mainstream. It's easy. Christmas is easy to celebrate. There are decorations in every store almost. There's places that we can buy gifts. Certainly store owners want us to celebrate Christmas and to buy gifts for each other. The church, we gather together to celebrate the Christmas time, and our family and friends, whether or not you're culturally celebrating Christmas or religiously celebrating Christmas, it's a time to get together. People often get time off. So celebrating Christmas is pretty easy. Sometimes that ease comes with a cost. We might forget about the principles undergirding this special time. Now, I know what you might be thinking. What crosses my mind is how many signs out there that say, what is the reason for the season? Like, oh no, we're people really grounded in the principles of Christmas. But I'm not sure they get at the depth of the principles of Christmas, the way that we try to attend to them. The resistance, the oppression, the freedom, all of those things that we talk about during Advent and Christmas. Well, as I've learned about Kwanzaa, what stood out to me is that this holiday is all about principles. They attend to the principles very directly. And as you saw in the song, the 7 principles are unity, self-determination, collective work and responsibility, cooperative economics, purpose, creativity, faith. All of these principles overlap with our community and with our faith. Each day, a different purpose is meditated and celebrated with the candles that represent them. While these purposes in many ways transcend culture because they are overarching truths to live by, Kwanzaa specifically celebrates them as a way to lift up the African roots of many of our Black Americans. I Googled the question, which honestly populated without me finishing the sentence, can white people celebrate Kwanzaa? I think I put, can white, and like the first 3 choices, people celebrate Kwanzaa. Popped right up. The answer that I found most helpful was from Joyce Davies. And she wrote this: any person of whatever race, creed, or color can join in paying tribute to African American culture and ideals that have sustained a people through centuries of slavery and oppression. So that's what we step into this moment to do. We honor this tradition and pay tribute
to African American culture. We're going to do this again during Black History Month. We're going to do this again in Women's History Month. We'll do it at Pride. There are many times where we say to each other, I am different than you. I have a unique experience than you, but I'm going to celebrate you the best way that I know how, and with as much honor and reverence and joy and celebration as excitement as possible. And so, in this way, we overlap our lives. The teaching from the letter to the Romans that we read has guided me for years. Some judge one day to be better than another, while others judge all days to be alike. Let all be fully convinced in their own minds. Those who observe the day, observe it in honor of holy love, while those who abstain, abstain in honor of holy love. And then Paul goes on to describe different ways one might observe a holiday or a tradition. I know lots of people who say, I don't celebrate Christmas, I don't celebrate birthdays, I don't, all days are alike to me. And we're supposed to say, good for you. Be you. Every day is important and sacred, and if they are all alike, then that is just fine. And some people celebrate every chance we get. I remember one time Joe Matthew said to me that Deborah every chance would have an opportunity for a blessing. Now, something's going on, let's bless it, let's celebrate it, let's do this. Every opportunity. There are people that just love rituals and celebration. All of it is good. Depends on what you have the energy for. And I think that this teaching is especially important today. I don't mean just this day. I mean for our time, because we are in the midst of terrible cultural clashes. But one kind of celebration doesn't dismiss or diminish another kind of celebration. And when one person celebrates and one doesn't, it doesn't diminish each person doing what they feel is the best thing for them to do. As Christians, we experience an ease in society. Our ways are given privilege, space. Still, there are some who would fight with each other over which is the most legitimate way to celebrate. How many times on Facebook have we all seen some comment or meme about how Happy Holidays is offensive? Or how it's entirely valid? Now, I can't count them all, but I don't want to get off track just with a rant about how Christians need to stop fighting with each other about these irrelevant details. I want to go a little bit beyond that. As humans, as mortals on this spinning globe, all of us need to eat and drink and sleep. We also need to embrace what makes us special and unique. There's so much about us that's similar. We can celebrate that. But what makes us unique and interesting, what defines us, doesn't need to separate us. It can draw us together out of respect, caring, and a desire to learn deeply from each other. What each of us celebrates or abstains from celebrating individually and as community adds to our common learning. Learning about celebrations like Kwanzaa, something that holds similar values to our own, yet comes from a very different ritual and cultural space. This offers us yet another opportunity to connect with each other, both within and across boundaries of difference. In doing so, we find our divine beloved radiating holy love, connecting us all together. So today is the last day of Kwanzaa, day 7. The principle for today, Imani, faith. The affirmation, let us develop a never-ending capacity for hope in our people. The audience for this affirmation is from Black people to Black people. As a white person and a white pastor, I encourage those of us here like me to allow ourselves to imagine ways that we haven't developed a never-ending capacity for hope in African American people. That's step 1. It's easy to stop at step 1 and go, oh my goodness, I'm a failure. I don't treat people well. I don't think about people well. It's important to take step 2. Acknowledging this and then opening ourselves up to change. With care and intention, we find those shut doors and windows inside of us, and then we just begin to open them. We go, oh, I didn't realize I was blocked there. I can open that up. I can figure that out. I can become in relationship with something new, someone different. I can learn. I can follow all the links that I can find on Google. I can do all the reading. I can be in conversation. We can figure this out together. Spirit, when we open up like this, is free to flow with refreshing breezes to help us recreate ourselves. With full hearts, we pay tribute to African American culture and ideals that have sustained this people through centuries of slavery and oppression. Our work of faith includes reshaping ourselves and our society to eliminate the bias and the prejudice of these people, our siblings in humanity. This new year is a perfect time to look at our principles and values and to reassess what we want to prioritize. One of the overlaps of our tradition in today's Kwanzaa principle is faith. Not just faith in God, but also faith in ourselves, faith in each other, faith to grow and change, faith to be one community with many voices. As we begin this new year, let's look for those places we find overlaps with each other and with other traditions so that we can stand on solid common ground. Let's also look for the ways that we can, with full hearts, acknowledge and celebrate our uniqueness. This embracing of each other's perspective and wisdom will lead us to grow in depth, in breadth, in community connection. So to all those who celebrate, I wish you a very happy Kwanzaa. And now I invite you to sing with me, Great is Your Faithfulness, number 423 from the New Century Hymnal. You can find it under your seats. Please stand as you are able in body or in heart. Shake your percussion instruments if you have any. Let's sing together.
Great is your faithfulness, O God Creator. With you no shadow of turning we see. You do not change, your compassions they fail not. All of your goodness forever. Great is your faithfulness, great is your faithfulness. Morning by morning, new mercies I see. All I have needed, your hand has provided. Great is your faithfulness, God, unto me. Summer and winter and springtime and harvest, join with all nature in manifold witness of your great faithfulness, mercy, and love. Great is your faithfulness, great is your faithfulness. Morning by morning, new mercies I see. All I have needed, your hand hath provided. Great is your faithfulness, God, unto me.
Now is the time for communion. When I think about the story of Christ at the table with his friends, the idea of faithfulness comes up for me. The faith that he had in his friends, the faith that they had in him. When he offered them bread, he didn't just offer them a little bit of food. He offered them a moment to remember,
And that's what we have on this table as well, a moment to remember the time that they didn't know what was going to happen in the future, while they were reflecting on the past, trying to figure out what might happen in the future, which is what January 1st is about in some ways. As we look at the past, what can we imagine this future will hold for us, given everything that we know, while also knowing we don't know everything? And faith is one kind of a rock to stand on, to say, whatever is out there, I can manage it. I can be in those moments, and hopefully we can all be in them together. But when there are times I have to stand alone, there is something about this memory that says I'm not really alone. Not at an inherent level. I always have community. And in another way, this bread is a symbol of harvest, which are the symbols on this table for Kwanzaa today. The symbol of abundance that says you can take something like a grain of wheat and some water and a little bit of yeast, and you can be sustained by it. And so Jesus took the bread and he broke it. And he gave some to his friends. And he said to them, I want you to pass this whole thing around and take some of it. And every time you do, I want you to remember this moment, and I want you to draw faith from it. I want you to be able to stand on a firm foundation. So they passed the bread around, and they took it together, not knowing what the future held. And so today, we take this little square of bread, not knowing what the future holds, but in faith, we take it remembering Jesus. Another part of the feast that was on the table, that's a part of the harvest, is the cup. And in it we find refreshing, whether you drink juice or wine or oat milk or water or whatever it is that you drink. They had what was on the table, and Jesus gave thanks for it and blessed it. And he said, take this from me. All of you take some of it. And as you pass it around, remember this moment. Remember me giving it to you. Remember the strength that you get from being refreshed. May I be a refreshing to you always, no matter what happens. May this moment come back to you so that you can feel enlivened. And so, we take our own cup today. And for the sake of the symbol that it offers us, we take refreshing from this cup in remembrance of Jesus. Holy Love, we thank you for the bounty that you've provided with us and the many different rituals and cultural celebrations that celebrate things like harvest and abundance and sustenance and remind us that there really is enough in this world. There's enough food to feed everyone. There's enough water for everyone to be able to be hydrated. There's enough people so that we can love each other. Help us to live into all of these moments, remembering this table and the symbols on it, so that we don't become foggy with the propaganda that there's only enough for a few, but that we whisk away all of that and say, that's not true. We remember. We know that there really is an abundance, and there's enough for all of us. Thank you for this ritual table and others like it in many different traditions. May we find our way to you and to each other as we remember this table together. In grace and in mercy. Amen. And now, my friends, before we sing our parting song, I want you to know I think there are a few tidbits of fellowship that's going to be on that table. I know at least there's one cake, and that might be enough for all of us. I don't know. But in anticipation of that, let us sing together number 197, La Paz Sea Contigo. We've sung this before. Stand as you are able, in body and heart, and sing and dance as you desire.